came out of the Air Force and he saw me. We got married and that was it.
No, wait a minute, now it goes back before then. I told y'all part of this, see, you're not getting it all. She seen me in uniform out in West Virginia.
It's the truth.
You see?
Farming, he doesn't hear too well. How did we get into farming?
My daddy, my mama was from West Virginia also. Our neighbor lived across the road there. That's where Mama got a lot of her knowledge of planting crops. She determined when to plow the land, plant the corn, like I was talking about the meat and what have you know, salt, especially the pork, salt it down. Had a small pressure cooker, but when we killed a beef, about 400 or 500 pounds, that's a whole lot of jars. Of course, we had a whole lot there to eat it too. But then how we take a number 2 washing tub, you know what I'm talking about, a large washing tub. We would stick that washing tub on the rocks, we would fill it with water, we'd get the water boiling. Then Mama would put the cans in that water. It done the same thing, it took longer, but it done the same thing as a pressure cooker. We had what you call a potato hole. After we used the potatoes out of the cellar, then we would open that hole and those potatoes would be just as good as it was when it's put in there.
When I was little, I stayed with my grandparents and she had a garden. My grandpa didn't mess with the garden, but she planted the garden and we would go out in the garden there, me and my grandma, take a salt shaker out there, pick fresh tomatoes off of the vine, sprinkle a little bit of salt on them and eat them like that.
You took all the rambling out of me.
He dug up a spot and we didn't have a tiller then. He dug it with a shovel and everything, and we had a garden and we raised green beans and tomatoes and a lot of peppers, strawberries. Well, the birds ate a lot of the strawberries. As soon as he left for work, I'd get out there and pick the beans. And then I'd go and I'd have a time getting the kids out of bed to help me with the rest of the work. But at least they didn't have to get out there in that hot sun and pick those beans.
Well, you don't need a great big spot. You can raise a whole lot of stuff in a small area.
Yeah, gardening is work, but I think it's worth it. Just go out there and be able to pick what you want fresh.
To me, nothing beats going out to the garden and get fresh vegetables. Mm-hmm. You go to the store, you don't know where they come from and whatever, you know.
And what they sprayed with or anything like that.
And then too, it's healthy too. I mean, get out, you know, and now like a young man like me, now it'll make me old for my time, I reckon. You know, do the work that I do.
Even if he can't stand up after getting out of his chair sometimes. I was wanting to laugh, but I was afraid to.
What I was doing, I was checking her reaction.
I didn't say, well, he's got a broken leg or something, I'll just shoot him.
You took all the rambling out of me with the finest love I've ever seen. All I want to do is stay home and play the guitar, sing songs about all the places that I've been.
Well, I've got COPD, and so I had an article in there, and I was sitting in my recliner before it was broke in. I was almost sitting over yonder. And so I was reading that thing there, and I said, it says here, if you're at least 60 years of age and you got COPD, you should take at least 1 nap a day. I said, I could wrote that article there myself, and I could have done better too, because I said, if 1 is good for you, 2 or 3 has got to be better. She said, let me see that. So she read it
and also mentioned about walking and taking exercises too. He didn't see that, he's blind.
Well, you have to get rested up there before you can do that.
Oh my goodness.
Was there anything else y'all wanted to ask?
No, that's funny. That's funny.
Have y'all ever seen a coal bucket, a lunch bucket